Chapter 41. The next morning I rolled out of bed and checked on Iris's position. I grinned. She was on her way. She'd made an early start and was flying up the east coast of Ireland. I ran down the stairs into the kitchen to tell Mum and Dad, but was met by Graham in the hall. "I wouldn't go in there if I were you," said Graham. "Mum's in panic mode. She's sending me to the shops to get a ton of flour for making cakes." I peered in through the door. "There you are, Callum," snapped Mum. She was madly scrubbing the kitchen floor. "I hope your room's tidy. You'll need to strip the beds and clean the bathroom. We'll need extra blankets from the attic and... Oh, Graham, haven't you gone yet?" "Cool down, Mum," called Graham. "Last-minute parties are always the best. Trust me." "But there's all the food to think about, and the music," said Mum. Dad walked in from the yard. "It's all sorted. Everyone from the village is bringing some food and drink. The bar will be open. There'll be more than enough." "And Flint's girlfriend is bringing her band," said Graham. "There'll be Scottish dancing and everything. Even Ewan's dad's playing his bagpipes to welcome them in." "But," said Mum. "Trust us," smiled Dad. "It'll be fine." We were busy all day. Rob, Ewan and I helped Dad get the village hall ready for the party. We put out tables and chairs, hung bunting from the roof and decorated the stage. More people came in the afternoon to help and deliver food. Ewan's dad practiced his bagpipes, and soon there was quite a party happening. Rob got a football match started between the kids and the parents, and even Mrs. Wicklow joined in. When everything was finished and done, Dad and I went back home to get changed for the party. "You've not got long," said Mum as we walked through the door. "I've just had a phone call. Geneva and Mama Binta have made good time. They'll be here within the hour." I rushed upstairs. I felt suddenly so nervous. I hadn't met Geneva face to face before. What if she didn't like me? What if, after all the excitement, our village was a huge letdown for her? I changed and went down into the kitchen, where Dad was watching the 6 o'clock news. He was in his jeans and blue checked shirt and was brushing his hair in front of the telly. "Come on," said Mum. "Hamish is giving us a lift. I can see him coming up the lane now." "I'll just catch the weather," said Dad. I sat down beside him, jiggling my feet under the table. I couldn't keep still. The weatherman stood in front of a big map of Britain, sweeping his hand across Scotland. "Northern Scotland will enjoy a spell of settled weather over the next couple of days," he said. "But I can't say the same for the south and west of England. There's a severe weather warning in place for the Bristol Channel and the Irish Sea. Just look at those isobars packed together. We can expect gale-force winds with those." I stared at the map. It was real time. A storm was moving across the Irish Sea now. Iris was out there, in those winds, in that storm. I raced up to my room and switched on the computer. Maybe she'd made it ahead of the storm. Maybe she was already sheltering on land somewhere. My heart hammered in my chest. The computer flickered into life. "Come on," I said. "Come on." But there was no signal. None. It was as if she'd vanished off the face of the earth. I tried to block out thoughts of the storm, but all I could see and hear were screaming winds and high, mountainous seas. Iris sensed the storm long before the dark clouds massed and formed above her. She tilted away from the curling threads of wind, flying hard and fast. But the storm was faster still. It ploughed across the sea, churning into green-grey troughs and peaks of foam-tipped waves. The storm winds pounded Iris. Salt spray clogged on her tattered feathers. The air and sea were white with foam. It stuck to her face and reached deep into the soft, downy layers. She felt heavy, waterlogged. She was flying to stay alive. The waves peaked and crested beneath her in a blur of white-streaked surf. One wave rose beside her, higher than the rest. Higher and higher. Its peak curled and tumbled, folding over Iris, sealing her in a tube of thundering whiteness. Her wingtips brushed the wall of surf. It broke onto her, pushing her into the sea. Over and over she turned. Salt water rushed into her beak and nostrils. She bobbed up to the surface and shook the water from her head. The straps the humans had tied to her floated loose around her. She clawed at them, pushing them down, down into the water. Iris launched upwards as another wave curled high above her. Her feet still trailed beneath the surface as it came crashing down towards her in a surging mass of surf and foam and spray.